the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Still love an Ange ball. Hello everybody and welcome to the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam, delighted to say joining me once again, he's back, it's Matt.
Hello mate, yeah, hopefully for good this time, eh? You know?
Yeah,
So,
welcome. You well?
Yeah, things have settled down at home a little bit more, so yeah, I'm well mate, how about you?
You've been on holiday.
Well,
You've
yeah,
been on hollybobs.
amongst other, oh mate, don't say that. It's one of those, that word has the same reaction as imagining someone scratching their nails down a blackboard, if blackboards exist anymore, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been. Do you know what? Listen, like we haven't been away much, like most people, obviously with COVID and stuff. But it just so happened that a year ago we booked a 2-week holiday to Turkey. Not been on a 2-week holiday since I was a kid, I think.
Yeah.
And then about 3 or 4 months later, all of our friends said, "Oh, we're going on a villa holiday to Spain. Do you want to come?" And it worked out that we could go, but only for half the week. So we basically went off to Spain for a few days, come back, 24 hours later, flew off to Turkey. And mate, it was amazing. But now I'm home. Although the weather's nice outside, I've got the full holiday blues, unfortunately.
Oh, I feel bad for you now.
Yeah, I know.
Said no
mate,
one.
yeah.
Not one person listening feels bad.
First world problems, eh? Being gutted about coming back from
Oh
3 weeks
no,
abroad.
you're back from your holidays abroad. How sad for
Oh
you.
no, poor sod.
Oh no, this is the guy with the violin. There he is.
Tiny was.
So welcome back. I mean, a lot has changed since me and you last spoke on a podcast.
So what you say? A lot changed with Spurs, a lot changed with this podcast.
Well, a lot changed with Spurs. The podcast's still the same.
Oh,
It's
there you
just-
go. That's right.
just
I'm gonna...
babbling on and taking the piss. Occasionally doing a Welsh accent.
Yep.
Before we started recording, you said that I sound Welsh sometimes. I'm still not over that, by the way.
It was just a twang. It was just like when because we was talking about the weather and it being hot, and you kind of almost come out with this bloody hot. You know, that's how it's kind of
bloody hot over here.
you see,
It's Welsh, that is. How do you do the Tom Jones? Tom Jones, Welsh. See, you remember when I was talking to Elvis? It's like, all right, name drop.
Mate, the way you did the impression like that, he belongs in Operation U Tree, mate.
yeah. There's a few I wonder about, but
they escape.
Quickly moving on from that. Wow, that was a tangent. Matt is back. Tottenham are playing football again. It's all mad. We had a game. We're in an international break now, but the last game before the international break is we went to Burnley. Now, over the last 4 years, if I said to you we went to Burnley and conceded 2 goals, you'd assume at best we drew 2-2. Would you say that's fair?
At best.
At best?
Yeah.
Probably lost 2-0, maybe 2-1 if Kane was in form. The artist formerly known. We won 5-2.
It's fantastic.
We scored 5 goals away at Burnley. I'm still kind of processing that, and like the stats are sort of coming out, and you're looking at them, and it's like we had how many shots? we did what? We passed the ball forward how many times? I think at the moment I'm still going into games with that feeling of here we go again. I've got to watch this, you know, for my sins. Got to watch it. Oh, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's actually enjoyable to watch.
Oh, this is fun. Yeah. The other team have an attack. We then attack. It's weird. Yeah. This is strange. We then attack. That wasn't said before. But yeah, we did win the game 5-2. Did you get to see any of it?
Yeah, I tried to watch it on a stream, and do you know what? I enjoyed what I could until it all crashed, unfortunately. But I was enjoying it, and it's funny because go back a couple of years and you're like, oh well, it's crashed. Never mind. Let's do something far more interesting. It's just entertaining football, like you say. I know you brought out a stat on the Facebook page, didn't you, about how we've kind of had like 3 out of 4 games where we've had at least 20 touches in the opposition's penalty area, and we had like 400 in total last season. Which is such a telling stat, isn't it? And it's just if you could encapsulate where we are in a stat, that is the one. We just
It
seem to
really is.
we're just playing football again.
Yeah,
I know it's a results based business, like especially
of course
nowadays.
it is. Yeah,
Like where you can, especially more than ever. It's the results keep you in a job. Results is what makes money for the club. It is that, but it's almost like that part of it hasn't seemed important to previous managers. They're like, right, I'm going to get the
yeah,
results, and fans, you can just go along if you want, but I'm not gonna, you're not gonna enjoy it, Whereas now it's like,
yeah.
you come with us, like enjoy this. Let's get the
Yeah.
results and enjoy it at the same time. It's
You
such a
can you
different
can
philosophy.
you can see the players as well. I mean, not only are the fans more invested because they're enjoying what they're seeing, the players are clearly enjoying it. You can fake certain things. Social media, for example, after a game, all the players tweeting, "Great result today, well done everybody, coys." You're like, did you even type that?
Mm.
Which person of the media team handed out tweet something like this? But then at the moment, you see the way they're playing, and you can see the just happiness, like the joy. I've seen Yves Basuma dance after games now, pretty much every week. That guy looked so crestfallen last season and so like uninspired, and I was thinking, wow, that guy looks so good at Brighton. How is he not translating that form to us? What's going on? And then here he is this season looking like prime Dembele.
He's been
And we're
amazing,
all we're all just like, oh, basically he needed someone to coach him.
mate. Yeah, basically.
Weird.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's almost.
once someone picked him and said, I trust you and believe in your ability, and he started doing really well, this is a weird concept.
Mm, mm.
Maybe
So
it's because the manager didn't call him out publicly and say, yeah, the only one not really grasping it is Yves, because, he's a bit thick.
it's ridiculous, isn't it? It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's you can tell that, and do you know what as well? I feel like it's not just on the pitch, like or the football we're watching.
Mm,
The whole dynamics changed behind the scenes with the
yeah.
players as well. He's, I mean, I do have a level of sympathy for Dyer, the way he's just been cast out, blatantly just cast out, like, I'm not
Yeah.
interested. But at the same time, I don't know if you remember, I did mention it on a podcast a few months ago, uh, a game I watched where it was Bournemouth when we lost
Yeah.
3-1 to Bournemouth.
Body language just
Yeah, body
went. Yeah.
language is awful, right? And I think that Postecoglou picks up on those kind of things, and it's all about, look, we've been sturgid in the past, things have been awful. I need to just completely transform, like he did with Celtic.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, but I haven't followed his career before that, but you can see what he did at Celtic. He completely just rejuvenated the team, and he got loads of players in, just changed it. And you need to like how many times have me and you said, like, when Levy's had transfer windows where he's not bought a single player, and it's not investing in the team, it's not just improving the squad, it's rejuvenating the squad, and it's
Yeah.
it's the everything, the whole thing needs to be rejuvenated and
Keeping the
bring.
energy, the
Yeah,
energy
absolutely.
level
Yeah,
up. Yeah.
absolutely. And I I know the hindsight's a good thing, and I might even be proved wrong on this, but I swear in the past I've said this on record that although I'd be gutted to see Kane go, I feel like he needs to go, and we need to bring in some young, fresh, exciting players. So when we brought in Brennan Johnson, I know he hasn't played in the Spurs shirt yet, but I feel like this is exactly what we need.
Yeah.
We're getting young, hungry players. The whole dynamics changed. We're playing attacking football. We're not just relying on one player to get us 30 goals a season. It's all just this whole team energy is just zoomed up,
I
And
I agree with the general principle of what you're saying. I would say that it's difficult for me to comprehend the idea that we're better without Kane, if that makes it. I don't think that could ever be true. But I think the general feeling is better. I
how,
think the general kind of vibe, if you like.
can I be controversial here, mate?
Bring it.
Bring it on, right? No, I'm not questioning Kane's footballing ability. I mean, he's up there even now, maybe top 5 strikers in the world, yeah, easily.
Well, he was until he decided to retire to a crap league. But
Yeah,
continue.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, but personality-wise, right,
yeah.
I feel like our new number 10 has got far more personality.
Our new number 10 has more personality in his pinky toe. And
Right,
I like Harry Kane is a person. I think he's a very nice guy. He's married his childhood sweetheart, family man. He doesn't step right. So this isn't a criticism at all. But I remember watching that Amazon doc, and he was captain the side, and I always remember thinking to myself, I wonder what he's like as a captain. I wonder if he inspires, if he if he talks, if he sort of, oh come on everyone, we're in this together. Come on, we're gonna do this. And I remember watching like bated breath as he shouted, "Let's fucking have him!" and ran off. And I was like, "You're kidding me! You have got to be kidding me! This is the England captain. I mean, don't get me wrong. For England, maybe that works. I remember Roy, Bassett, England manager, where that guy punches the locker and goes, "Let's fucking have him," and everyone goes, "All right." But no, I genuinely always thought to myself after that, I was like, I don't know why he'd ever be captain. Like that is not who I'd pick.
Do you remember that there was that video when he was injured and he was watching the game and he did and he was like, it was I don't look I'm like you say, I'm sure he's a lovely family man and that, but I wonder whether that's like you say, I'd argue Kane's probably a better player in general than if you're going to say who do you want in your team, Maddison or Kane. There's a big argument, I guess, for Kane maybe, but then look, not quite. I mean, Maddison, there's still loads of talk already about him being the bargain of the transfer window, and I'm fully on board with that. The guy oozes skill and ability. And I just
big Ange about that.
Yeah,
£40 million bargain.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Are you on?
But yeah, exactly. But I just, without meaning to sound mean, I think I'd rather listen to Maddison give a team talk than Kane give a team talk, if you know what I mean. I feel like from that point of view, that's changing the dynamic for the better as well.
Yeah.
And everyone's listening to that thinking you're an arsehole, but look, I'm just
no one's thinking that. I mean, a few people probably. The whole idea of the podcast is we share our opinions. People listen, they agree, they disagree, and they tend to have a go at me. I'm not quite sure why that is, but they do. I think it's because you sound more like a Tottenham fan. I sound like a pirate Shag the Farmer.
You're a fake one, mate. Yeah, you're a fake one. You ain't.
Remember that guy who used to message every week? Carrot Country, don't know what you're talking about. He's like, oh, but you keep listening. Thanks.
Has he gone then? Has the guy gone?
Yeah. I'm hoping he died.
Oh.
So he was very mean to me. Anyway. If I get a message now like, "Oh, I never died, you Carrot Country man. I just decided I liked you. Now I don't." Oh no, what have I done? Like the son of the evil one. I'm carrying on my dad's tradition, you cunt. Anyway, I said can't. No one can prove different. Or moderators. And also earlier on when Matt said he was watching on a stream, it's because he likes to sit in his boat whilst fishing, watching via legal providers.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Because he was abroad at the time, and there's lots of Premier League available.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Thanks for that, mate. You covered it.
God, I get so much. They find it so fast. I do another podcast where I talk about TV, movies, and stuff. And I thought the House of Mouse didn't mess about. I thought Disney, like, if I so much as sort of sneeze about Star Wars, Marvel, or say something that's even slightly off the line on that show, I get an email from Disney. And I'm like, how? How did you find that one extract in like an hour show on a random ass podcast? Oh, yeah, that's the thing. They're scary. But I thought they were bad. I thought the House of Mouse didn't mess about. The Premier League, over their intellectual property, if you like, oh, wow. They are on another level.
Yeah.
Oh, and never mind. So, we stomped Burnley. The leadership group stepped up. QT Romero's goal was phenomenal.
Yeah,
if anyone wants a laugh, there is a Twitter thread, or whatever it's called now. It's still called Twitter to me.
X-thread.
Yeah, I can't say. Oh, it's an X-thread. All about X's now. Where people have changed the commentary. So you've got like the commentary of like Alan Partridge, like, fuck, that guy's got a foot like a traction engine. It's hilarious. Someone else has perfectly synced up is he going to have a crack? He is, Oh, I say. And I'm like, wow, nice. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But there's loads, and people have done their own, so that's phenomenal. Maddison's goal also, just pick this out, you bastards. I was going to say, Sonny scored a hat-trick.
Yeah, it was amazing. And do you know what? With Maddison's goal as well, this is the sign of a real world-class player. How easy
Yeah.
did he make that look?
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
know.
and he looked like I could do that, but he couldn't. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But,
no, I know. Do you know he has, since he debuted in the Premier League, he's scored the most, tied currently with James Ward-Prowse goals from outside the area.
yeah, that's insane, isn't it?
Burnley not closing him down is criminal. You know, teams and defences will know that. There's an analyst sat on the Burnley bench just hitting his head as he picked that ball up alone. You have got to be kidding me! What have we talked about all week? Yeah, you can imagine it, can't you? Just like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I always love that. But the fact that we are creating this space is just like wow. But one of the players that is doing just a phenomenal job, and I am just blown away of how he's sort of come into the Premier League. Like, yeah, I've been here for 30 years, and he's only 20. He's played like 4 Premier League games in his life. That's Destiny Udogie.
Yeah, he's mustard, isn't he?
Need to absolutely stress that it's Udogie, because I was watching on sat on a lake, and every commentator for every individual site that provided the games while sitting on a stream, all of them were pronouncing like Udogie or Udogie, and I'm like, no one's getting this right. And to be fair, I didn't know it until we joined and they did their, hello, I am Destiny Udogie. I was like, wow, it is Doggy. Okay, good to know. I mean, that's a name like that, you've got to sort of back it up, and he has.
Yeah.
But you pointed out to me the Spurs song sheet on Twitter and various other social media do an amazing job of trying to, all of our players, make sure there are songs. They come up with them, they put it out to the fans, they got a big following now, and it gets shared by loads of people. I'm even pretty sure someone showed me the other day that James Maddison liked and shared his song that's been suggested. So the players are spotting it now as well. But there's a song for Udogie, and I absolutely love it. And you wanted me to find it and play it, and I have.
Oh,
Here it is.
When the night falls, my destiny calls. Oh, I wanna dance with you, doggy. I wanna win the league with you, doggy.
Yeah, ambitious.
Yeah, I wanna dance with you, doggy. Oh, with you, doggy who loves me.
I love that.
It's awesome, isn't it? And do you know what I was thinking? I'm glad we've got Udogie who loves us now, because now Dier, who used to love us, probably doesn't love us as much now.
No. All right, I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move on. I have always, will always, and still currently love Eric Dier.
Do you think he still loves us?
I think he loves me.
Oh, you personally? Fair enough.
Some of you other bastards probably not. But I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say this really loudly, and it's not because his family in the past have emailed to prove they listened to the show, and it's not because I know his mum's on our Facebook page. It is because I genuinely have always liked him. As an individual, I have always loved him, and his bromance with Dele Alli and stuff like that encapsulated an era where I fell in love with Tottenham again. So I'm going to say it now. Eric Dier could make 10 mistakes every game for every appearance he makes for us at the end. I will go, oh, damn it, Dier. But I will never stop loving the guy.
No. And do you know what? There was times, remember when Man United were trying to get him for 50 million and he could have gone, couldn't he? But he showed a lot of loyalty over the years with us, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he got kind of called out on that, but should actually bury that. Don't bring that up.
Right, fair enough.
You sure a lot of loyalty. I mean, he tried. Anyway, yeah. So that was actually kind of funny. I'll touch on it now, because Kyle Walker was getting abuse for leaving us that summer, and the Dele Alli had like an Instagram live, and the Spurs fans were like, "Oh, I can see Kyle Walker in the background, Snake, Judas," and Dier laughed. And Carl said, "Don't know why they're saying that about me. You were trying to pack your bags to go to Man United. It just didn't happen."
Right, fair.
Everyone was like, "Ooh."
Right. See, I've obviously got the wrong end of the stick then with that guy. I thought that Man United would try it, and he said no. But
no, Man United would try, and he said yes, and we said no.
Do you know? I think have I mentioned this before about Kyle Walker's got a Spurs tattoo on his leg?
He does, yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate the guy now. If he's got a Spurs tattoo on his leg, I mean, nothing, he can do anything, and he's always,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
I mean, I don't hate him. I mean, hate's a strong word. I mean, hate's reserved for people who go to Germany.
Has he got any tattoos of Spurs? He better get one.
Right, so you've started me now. So, I do not, player leaves, whatever. He's our all-time greatest goal scorer, probably one of the best football players I've ever seen play for the club. I watched him come through the academy, so of course I've got that element of attachment to him. He left, it came to an end. Things sometimes end with that little bit of tension and bitterness, but I was like, do you know what, just going to step back. I'm not going to get, because I was pissed at him about the Man City thing. Everyone knows that. I may have brought it up once or twice. But I got over it and I'm like, with this, do you know what, I'm not pissed at him. He could have sat on his ass for a year and then joined Munich or anybody and got a massive payday. But he's left now. The club have banked 100+ million for him. It probably uprooting his family with a new baby to move to Germany. That probably wasn't scenario A for him, but he's done it, whatever. So I'm kind of like, okay, I'm fine. But once he got there, right? There was a reporter who interrupted a Tottenham press conference with a Kane 9 Bayern Munich shirt.
Oh, that's what I remember.
It was completely disrespectful to the club and quite shitty to us as fans, Tottenham fans.
Yeah.
Kane was in Germany a day when he had his arms round laughing and joking with that reporter about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
His interview over there was about joining a big club to finally challenge for trophies. Like he'd never been in a final for us, including a Champions League final. I mean, there isn't a bigger club trophy, but okay, fine. And also since he went, where, his message to us fans was, I've been here so long, I love you guys and all this crap, and you never know, I might come back. He hadn't said one thing about us.
Yeah.
How difficult would it be whilst he sat there in Germany to go, Tottenham playing Burnley, good luck, lads. Thinking of you all. Good luck, Sonny, on being the captain. Nah, fuck all.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show he doesn't care. And that irked me. That has irked me. The rest of it, I was over, but that has annoyed me.
And do you know what? That's true, because you remember, going back to Kyle Walker, when Kyle Walker left, do you remember he did that really cool montage?
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it. It was all the time he was at Spurs and he managed to make it into I think it was his number or something. Yeah. I was like, that guy's put some effort in. He really is he misses Spurs. You're right. With Kane, he's just he's gone, isn't he? There's
no, because it doesn't take anything. Like Eric Lamela, right, on a regular basis is on his Instagram live playing video games, okay? The guy's using a Tottenham Hotspur branded Xbox controller with his Tottenham shirts framed on a wall behind him, more often than not wearing Tottenham gear whilst he's a player for Seville.
Yeah.
The guy on a regular basis will reply to Spurs official, to the players, saying, well done guys, saw the game, you were great, regular basis. He is still a Spurs fan, still loves the club. And yet you've got this guy who came all the way through the academy. Now don't get me wrong, if he's pissed at Levy over the stuff that happened, that's fine, but the fans aren't. We haven't done anything to him.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not a lot to put a tweet out to say, see Tottenham playing Man United today, good luck guys. You'll win. Something. But no, he's too busy dressed up as a Bavarian, down in yards of ale with his new German teammates whilst trying different sausages. You're the England captain. You'll have it stripped. I'm telling you, you'll have it stripped. Give it to Jude Bellingham. He's gone abroad. He's still happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Jude Bellingham tweets about Birmingham on a regular basis. Birmingham City. Oh, looking forward to the game where I'm going to get a chance to watch. Oh, no. It's too much for Harry.
It's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame.
Yeah, hope he goes bald. And his brother dies of syphilis. Anyway, so it is time for you. Now, you didn't give me any warning on this, so I couldn't prepare a jingle or anything.
No.
But you have a quiz.
It's a very short one, mate.
What is the quiz called?
So I've just created a very short quiz. There's only 5 questions in there.
It's a very short quiz. There's only 5 questions.
There you go. You've done the jingle already, right?
Yeah.
It's called, was it Ange or, oh no, Antonio or Mourinho?
Was it Ange? Or was it?
We don't talk about
Or Antonio, or Jose, or any of the other bastards.
No, they wanted to know. Antonio, Nuno, Mourinho. That was it, wasn't it?
Oh, Antonio, Nuno, Mourinho.
That was where it was going wrong.
No.
That'll fit into the song.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I'm ready. 5 questions. Give me question number 1.
So they're not questions. They're quotes. So I've got 5 quotes, and you have to tell me whether the quote is from Ange or Antonio or Mourinho.
Okay. All right. I'm ready. Bring it on.
The first one. Okay. And I won't do any accents because that'll give it away. I'll just do it in my own voice.
Oh, all right.
The only thing that we cannot control is our supporters.
The only thing we cannot control is see, out of context, that could be anybody, but I hope that's not Ange. I hope, because I feel that he likes to talk about the connection a lot. The only thing we can't I don't know, it feels like a Nuno, Conte, Mourinho to me.
Which one are you going with?
Oh, have I got to pick one of them?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Nuno.
No, it's Mourinho.
It was Mourinho.
Mourinho, yeah, okay.
All right.
Second one. Yeah. People have been telling me my whole career I've only got a plan A, and they're right. My plan A is to win things.
Conte.
Big Ange.
That is Big Ange.
Yes, it is indeed. Yeah, I like. And do you know what? There has been a bit of talk, hasn't there, of like everyone going, "Oh yeah, no, we're doing all right at the moment. What happens when it starts going wrong? Where's his plan B?"
what happens when it goes wrong? It goes wrong, mate. I love that. I love the fact that Pep Guardiola, the most successful manager in English football for a long time, literally has one way to play.
And it works.
And it works. Yeah, and every now and again they'll lose a few games, and not once do you hear, "Oh, where's his plan B? What's going on? Old Pep's been found out," and then they come back and win the league because the other team chokes. Yeah, anyway, sorry. Bloody hell, I got that one so wrong. Okay.
Right, quote number 3. Our target is to win, not to try and make all the players happy.
See, I'm thrown now, because the last one I was convinced was going to be one of the sociopaths, but it was Big Ange. What if Big Ange said that? I hope he said it and added the word mate on the end. Yeah, if it's a quote, I want you to put the word mate in if it's there.
There's no way I'm doing that, mate. That'll give it away straight away. Can you imagine content use the word mate in a quote?
Right, sorry, can you repeat it again?
Our target is to win, not to try to make all the players happy.
I don't know. Again, it sounds Conte to me.
Well done, mate. 1 out of 3.
Yeah, okay.
Quote 4. It's the one thing. Football and supporters are not two separate entities as far as I'm concerned.
Big Ange.
Yay. And finally, in 5 years, I have never had a match where my team has had less possession than the opponents.
That's got to be Big Ange as well, isn't it?
Mourinho.
Jose said that.
What point?
Jose, I don't care about the ball. They can have the ball. I'll have the 3 points. Mourinho said that.
I knew that would throw you because it surely had to have been before he took over Spurs.
No way. In 5 years? No.
Come on, go for it. Put it in Google. You'll see.
I know he's a delusional bastard, but wow. Okay, so I got 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Not bad.
Okay, everybody listening, let us know how many you got if you played along. Right, speaking of everybody listening, it's time to get their opinions.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
Okay, it is Facebook or Instagram.
Facebook.
We start with the Book of Face, and we have 4 here. Opening with Ryan Miller. Ryan Miller says, with Spurs 4-1 up after 70 minutes, I can't help but wish that Ange would bring youngsters into the game rather than field Perisic at the end of his career. What are your thoughts on the opportunity this season for our youth players? I would caveat this with there weren't any youngsters on the bench for Burnley, but my point still stands.
Does it?
No, it doesn't. Ryan, I like you. You message in on a regular basis. You ask good questions. But in this particular week, I feel you've kind of asked a question and then done yourself in the answer.
I feel like that's very similar to someone saying to me, "Why don't you drive a Ferrari out of your driveway every day?" Yeah. Because I don't own a Ferrari.
Yeah. I don't see a Ferrari on your driveway, but why aren't you driving it? Yeah. No, okay. I think the point he's trying to drive at is, will we give youth more of a chance? Now, What I would say at this particular moment, and this is, youth players at a certain level need to be playing games week in, week out. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here. Yeah, we're certainly going to see some people get that. But the players that I have the highest hopes for, Dane Scarlett, Alfie Devine, they've gone out on loan. And the aim of playing every week. So, sorry.
I'm sorry, mate, I didn't mean to interrupt, but literally sort of 10, 15 minutes ago, you was talking about Udogie, and the guy's only 20, and look, he's a regular now,
Yeah.
you know. And I just, for me, it feels like, and I think Delhi's another example as well, is that it doesn't matter that, like, you know, they can be young,
Yeah.
but it's where they are in their development, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
like, I feel like Dane Scarlett, he obviously, like, where Ange, and obviously in Italy as well, the managers there have seen in Udogie the fact that this guy, he's very can be very trusted in the first team.
Yeah.
Not so much maybe, and it's a development thing, isn't it? So you can put, you know, you can put Dane Scarlett, for example, up front, put him in one of the front three, but is he there yet? You know, you can't, like, you know, and like you said, just giving them the sort of 10 minutes at the end doesn't really do much, does it? It doesn't really. It's not going to aid their development in a massive way.
No.
Whereas put them in a championship team for a year on loan, and they're playing regularly. You know, they're getting that experience.
I also think Perisic and professionals like that, Højbjerg, for example, are both, regardless of your opinions on them overall, they are both consummate professionals who will be ready to come on and play 90, 80, 70, 60 if they're on the bench. Those guys are switched on, and they're going to be ready to come on and give everything they've got for the time they're given. Academy players can be quite hit and miss, not because they're not switched on, not because they don't want it, but they can be over-eager. They can, you know, I really need to show what I can do. I really need to do this. And sometimes that can be great, and you can come on and grab a goal. And other times they give away a penalty or something, and the fans get on them, and you never see them again.
Yeah, sure.
So they got to be protected a little bit. I think over the course of the season, we will see. You only got to look at the fact we just sold Sanchez, and we've got an 18-year-old that we signed in Phillips now, basically in the first team squad, not the under-21s. So yeah, I think we will. Next question is from Michael Joseph. Michael says, I saw a stat the other day that two centre-backs haven't... sorry. I'm going to start this again. I saw a stat the other day that our two centre-backs haven't committed a foul during our 4 league games. Can you confirm this, Michael?
Can you? Because that's insane.
I can tell you that's not even close to being correct. Now, you must have got this from TalkSport. TalkSport, who the other day proclaimed that because we got knocked out of the League Cup, we only had 12 games left before the next window opened. And I sat there and went, bloody hell, only 12 games. I wonder if that's why we took a gamble. And then the more I sat there and went, that ain't right.
That don't sound right.
So I loaded the fixture list and counted, and lo and behold, 30 seconds later, I knew they were full of shit. And I'm like, TalkSport, what the hell? I know someone might say it, and you think, God, that's mad. Don't just repeat it to a million people. Load your phone and check it. You have... anyway. No, Michael, that's not true. We have a guy called Cuti Romero in our team.
Has he got any yellow cards yet, though, this season?
No. Yes.
I was going to say, that would be a stat.
Yeah. Cuti Romero's gone 4 games without being... But no, of course he's been booked. Of course he's given away fouls. I don't know where that's come from. I love that, though. Yeah, but yes, they have given away fouls, just 1 or 2. Deven... Maybe they're thinking Deven hasn't, but he has. He's not been booked. Maybe that's where it's come from.
Maybe they're thinking that the Phillips hasn't given away fouls yet.
Philip, yeah.
That's
great
true.
Kid. Yeah, not done a thing. Yeah, Dorrington in the academy at the first team level, not 1 foul. Stefan Cruz Alvarez starts his question with, bring back Steph. Oh, bless
Has he
him.
hashtagged it to start with?
No, he hasn't.
That's
So
he's not
going to get a following. After the performance at the weekend, should Richie Richarlison now be worrying for his playing time? Johnson, who I'm a big fan of, he's boring me about it, is mainly a wide player, so if Sonny plays through the middle, where does Richie fit now? Is it purely the bench? I should caveat this by telling everybody that Stefan hates Richarlison and is a massive Johnson fan. Like, the minute we were linked to him, he was basically doing cartwheels and trying to get me excited, which was quite difficult because I'm just not.
Do you know
But
what? This with Richarlison, I can't help but have this same feeling towards him than I do towards Kane, which is, can you imagine having to listen to those two having a conversation? Like he looks like there's just like he's trying to work out if there is anything in between his ears. Like, don't you think?
oh, I
He's
like
got
Richie.
yeah, no, but he's got ability. Like he's got ability.
Yeah.
I mean, just like you only got to look at the World Cup to see how much of ability he's got. But I just think for him, he's just I don't. It's almost like he just looks lost sometimes.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't work out what's going on here. Why not scoring any goals? Like I don't understand.
Well,
He's just
maybe.
just
I mean, he's someone who very much is emotions on his face.
yeah.
He can't hide how he feels very well. If he's having a
Oh.
bad day, you know it. He looks like Eeyore crossed with Sad Sack.
That's
But
a little bit. Doesn't it? That's a good description, mate.
yeah, but I like him. I don't know.
I feel like he
don't know
just.
if people don't.
I feel like for Everton, he kept them up single-handedly, kept them up.
Yeah.
And I worry, and it's ridiculous saying this because the guy was like one of the highest goal scorers in the World Cup, but it just for me feels like it's just too much of a step up for him. I don't know. I don't know.
At the moment, it's not working.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it won't, because we've all. The thing is, as well, and Richie said it himself in an interview. Harry Kane is a world-class, elite-level striker who will take chances that most forwards will miss. He'll take them.
Yeah.
And for the last 9 years, Tottenham fans are now used to having that. If
yeah.
we all rewind before Kane, and we have Soldado,
Yeah.
Adebayor, various others, and keep going back, we didn't have that.
No.
We've not had that. Even like Berbatov, Keane, and people like that who scored a hatful for us were not as prolific as Kane.
No, completely.
So, Defoe, all those people, Pavlyuchenko, everyone's like, oh, I remember them scoring loads. And you look at the figures and go, oh, wow, actually, yeah, Kane really is like a lot ahead of all of them. So
It's a bit like when they talk about tarot reading, people remember the hits and forget the misses.
true, you're not wrong. Finally, on Facebook, we have Tom Perks, who says, quick Spurs trivia. Oh, wow, more trivia. After Son's hat-trick at the weekend, in the last 4 years, so only in the last 4 years, there have been 3 other players to score a hat-trick in the Premier League for Tottenham. Who are they? One is obvious, the other 2 not so much. So obviously Son is one.
In the last 4 years.
Yeah, in the last 4 years, 4 players, obviously Son's one, so 3 others have scored Premier League hat-tricks for Tottenham.
I mean, obviously the obvious one, Kane. That's 2 out of the way.
I know this.
You know it.
I'm sure I know this.
Are they strikers?
Hang on, I'm racking my brain to think.
They can't be strikers because
I don't
they're
want to.
like.
Yeah, no, I know it.
It was Lamela one. Did Lamela score?
Well, no, but when I tell you, you're gonna know straight away, and you're gonna kick yourself.
Go on.
Okay, so obviously Harry Kane and Sonny,
Yeah.
Lucas Moura.
Oh, of course. Freaking hell, the most
Mate.
famous one.
This one, but the Premier League hat-trick. But yeah, he did get a Premier League hat-trick. But the one I think that you'll kick yourself,
Go on.
Gareth Bale versus Sheffield United.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
That was in the Premier League, but of course it was in friggin' lockdown.
No way. That's mad.
Yeah.
Do you know? Just very briefly as well. Did you see the stat that Sonny is now overtaken? Is it like Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't he? The most Premier League.
He scored more Premier League goals than Ronaldo. Yeah.
And you look at it, and although Ronaldo did it in less time, Son's assists are way superior to Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Like he's so like it's I don't know if you say underrated because we all rate him, but I feel like he's been under Kane's shadow for so long that we forgot how good this guy is as well.
Well, I think me and you have said for a while, like, we at one point we're not going to realise just how good we've had it with those 2.
Yeah.
But and the next one is from someone. Let's have a look. It is the Johnny Stark show. The Johnny Stark says, faults on the World Cup-esque added time this season. It seems multiple results that will affect the top 4 race have all been decided past 95 minutes. Yeah, I think people are getting used to it, and it'll take a while to get used to. I think the match-paying fans are finally getting their money's worth. But at the same time, is a bit weird.
Yeah, do you know, you're right. I think the World Cup was really odd. It's like, this is
Yeah,
ridiculous. But because we had the World Cup, it gave us that kind of softener, if you like. So now
yeah,
we're used to it a little bit more. It is weird, but I
yeah,
agree with it. And I've said this to you before. Funny enough, I was having a conversation with someone the end of last season about it in a
yeah.
stadium. The fact that time wasting is such a it's a real,
Agreed.
what's the word I'm looking for? It's just a real drain of,
Bugbear, a
yeah,
real,
yeah, because
real.
because it's that, again. I say something we've talked about before, but it's that dark arts thing. You know they're time wasting. It's so frustrating, and you don't mind it when your team are winning. Right? You're like, yeah,
No,
go for it. But it's just if it like, I'll get rid of it. And this is obviously doing that because they're thinking, well,
yeah.
the referee's looking at it going, time waste, mate. I'm going to get on to
The,
the end
the
of the
the
game.
funny thing for me is it now ties into our new philosophy. Ange Postecoglou, we don't stop.
Yes,
So this
absolutely.
drilled the players all summer. We don't stop. I don't care if you think, oh, we're 2-0 up, we're 1-0 up, let's just play the ball about. No, we keep going. We're going for the next goal, the next goal, the next goal. When the full-time whistle goes, we stop. That's it,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. No, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. I think it's going to take a while to get used to, but I only think it's a good thing if they
Did,
stick with it.
did you watch, by the way, just sort of going off a slight tangent? Did you see on Sky they've got a show Michael Owen presents with one of the referees?
No.
I can't remember who it is. The other bald guy that used to, I think he's head of the refereeing association now. Howard Webb. Howard Webb. That's it.
Yeah.
So they basically review VAR, controversial VAR decisions. If you get a chance to watch it, me and Seb
Yeah.
watched it last night, and they review controversial VAR decisions. But the interesting thing about it is you hear all the audio. So
Yeah.
you hear the referee, you hear the VAR, you hear everything. And one of the things I found interesting about it was the referees don't shut up. Like,
No.
like they're going, oh, it looks like that. Yeah, I'm just overtaking him now. I've got a clear view. Yeah, so the referees are talking the whole 90 minutes, which you don't
Yeah.
kind of get any concept of when you're watching a match because
No.
obviously you can't hear them. But from listening to VAR as well, it's fascinating. Like, the controversial decision last weekend with Man City when
Yeah.
it was blatantly offside, when it was
Yeah.
ridiculous how that was given. But when you listen to it, the VAR, they are in a mess. They're in a mess. You've got three people talking at once. Everyone's getting confused, and then someone goes, "Yep, yep, yep." What is it they say when they have the final bit? They say, "Check complete." That's it. Check complete, and gone. And it was
Yeah.
like no one talked to each other there. Everyone talked over each other, and that
Yeah.
gives you a far better insight into why that ridiculous decision was made.
Well, it just gives you an insight of how flawed the system
It's
is
fascinating.
currently.
They did the one, the Wolves Man United game with Onana. That was a blatant pen. They did that
Oh,
one as well, and that was the same. No one can, like, basically the chief VAR guy. What he's meant to do is say, "This is what I've decided." Assistant, what do
yeah.
you think about my decision? Instead, he's
Yeah.
going, "Assistant, what do you think we should do?" And it was just,
No.
it wasn't done right. And it's honestly, watch, it's fascinating. So from that point of view, that's given a lot more transparency, getting the extra time played. I think they're obviously trying to what's the word? They're trying to listen and go, look, we've listened to what you said. We're going to try to make changes. And so far, I think those ones are good.
Interesting. Speaking of changes, again, we got one more question, so I'll just do this quickly. I saw yesterday a proposal from FIFA around the offside rule, where now technology is bringing it in, and it is a fact now. It's a line. It's fact. It's not an opinion. It's not a judgment call. VAR has made it fact. They want to change the rule that to be offside, your body has to be beyond the pass defender. Not an arm, not a leg, not a head, but your actual body needs to be beyond them. I can't make my mind up.
No,
I'm sort of, is that too much to the attacker? But then at the same time, I like watching goals. So
yeah, it leads itself to more goals, and also it. I find, and I know I've said this to you before, but what frustrates me about those offside VAR decisions is,
yeah,
like you said, it has to be an objective decision, doesn't it?
yeah,
By definition, it should be an objective decision, but but you look at it and it's not, because
no,
the subjectiveness is, for me, what is the absolute millisecond that a person has made that pass, right?
Yeah.
So the camera, the frame rate, like, I know this sounds so pedantic, Sam, but the frame rate, if you go like to get the moment, right? So because because I'm saying this as it's pedantic, but there's been offsides given, and I'm saying literal because it is literal, literally toenails. Their toenail is
Yeah,
gone,
I agree.
right? So
Yeah.
you're using that side of it, yet. Look, when they pass the ball, you cannot, because of the speed of the football, you cannot get the frame rate of when they've actually touched the ball. Can you? You can't get that. So you can't be pedantic one end of it and not be pedantic the other end. It's not fair. So if by doing that rule that you're talking about bringing in, it takes that away because you're literally now looking at that gap, aren't you? You're not looking at toenail. Although
Yeah.
saying that, is it? Because then you're going to be like, is a toenail ahead of the
It's,
so yeah, it's
you move the line, you're
it's
still
so
drawing the line.
frustrating.
So
I just feel like it's a good idea in principle because of the fact there's been horrible offside decisions pre VAR, but I just feel like the technology isn't as absolutely precise as they're treating
yeah,
it. You know, they're not treating it with the same
I agree.
preciseness.
I
And, and,
agree.
and that's where you have to use. You look at it and you go, right, it's toners off, but because we can't exactly tell when that person's made that pass to the millisecond, let's give the benefit of the doubt of the strike. There needs to be more benefit of the doubt, I think, in these
Well,
VI
there always
decisions.
used to be. Always used to be. If you're in doubt, give it to the striker. But okay, so the final question comes from a man with his own theme.
Now it's time for a comment from Island Brother.
I know a lot of people have themes. This one's my favourite when the sun's out.
Yeah, I feel like I just need to be drinking a Malibu right now.
I'll get myself a Malibu, yeah.
With pineapple, obviously, old school.
Yeah, definitely. Ireland Brother says, Hola Spurs faithful, Sonny, Solomon and Johnson has to be it going forward, right? It just makes sense unless teams sit deep, but then those tricky feet should win us pens. I just don't see Richie being a Spurs player starting next season. Question, does Devine serve as a future backup to Maddison, or can they play together? What's the stylistic difference between the two? Hope all is well. Coys.
Thank you.
Um,
Devine had
yeah.
a good one, by the way, didn't he, on the weekend? Port
Yeah,
Vale.
he did. Yeah. 98th minute winning penalty. That's ballsy for a young kid who's brought in on loan.
And he got the assist for the equaliser as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and it was his ball that brought the guy down for the penalty. So, oh God, there are similarities. Can they play together? Of course they can. I always say that very good players will adjust their game. I always remember that Lampard-Gerrard crap. I think it just proved they weren't as good as everyone said they were. Because you watch that Barcelona midfield, that peak team, you know, Iniesta and Xavi and Messi and all those players, they play together. None of them had a problem. Devine. Do you know what? A lot's going to depend on this loan. And that's a phenomenal start for the kid. But he needs to be playing 20 to 30 games this season and hitting a consistency that I think he's got the ability to do. Don't get me wrong. And if he does that, then I wouldn't be surprised that Ange goes, perfect. There's my boy. There's my rotation. There's my, he's going to be in and out. We're going to be swapping around, playing together. You know, if we're playing against an inferior team, both of them on, pulling the strings. If we're playing against a stronger team, one of them's on. So, yeah, profile-wise, it's difficult. Do you know what? Because I hate doing the whole, well, he's a bit like him, or a bit like him, because people then have a weird expectation. But every time I watch Devine play in the academy, and I've watched him play for his England age group a lot, he has the ability to beat people with his positioning. It's kind of hard to explain this, but I always think this is a skill that people don't rate. He positions himself, so when he receives the ball, or if he's he positions his body angle and everything, that he beats a player without having to beat them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He positions himself so it looks like the pass is phenomenal. Oh, that pass cut that defender out. And in reality, of course, that is a point, but it is him. He finds space and he finds positions, and he takes the ball in turns, and he does stuff that will always give him time on the ball. And that's another thing that you see with very good players. You always feel like they have time.
Do you know? It reminds me of, and I mean, I don't particularly like the guy, but he was very, very successful in the Premier League, and it sounds like you're sort of describing how he used to play, Lampard. And I remember reading an article about he's talking about how he developed when he was at West Ham.
Yeah.
And he said he said I wasn't blessed with the biggest amount of ability, he said, but it was always drummed into me to look for space and to play the space, and it becomes such a big part of my game. And that, you know, how many goals did he score? He scored a phenomenal
goal scoring record.
And he wasn't like, you know, by no means was he like a Gareth Bale or anyone. He never showed that ability, but it was because of the way he taught himself to read the game from that point of view. So if Devine follows that kind of trajectory, then he's going to have a massive career, you know, going forward.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. So yeah, that wraps it. That wraps all the questions. Yeah, wow, it's a hot day.
It's hot week. It's a hot week.
Yeah.
Do you know, this is the thing. So I've been working this week, and like when I was away, it was hot like this, and I could just enjoy it. But I hate it when it's hot, when you can't enjoy it.
I know.
It kills me.
It's awful. It is absolutely awful. We shall survive. Everyone around the world is listening to us moaning. Trust me, come here. It's different. I know you look at the temperature and think, they're fine.
It's
just something. It just bites different here.
And the thing is as well, we're a country where we can't do extremes, can we? So we don't we're not designed as a country for extremes. So if it's very, very cold,
temperate
very, very hot,
me up. Yeah,
we just can't do it. We can't cope with it. And I always remember years ago, years ago, coming to 13 years now, when Vicky and I got married, and we got married over Christmas, and our flights got cancelled because there was a bit of snow, and the airport didn't know how to deal with it, you know. So, and people were like, why don't they just get snow plows in? It's because they'll spend hundreds of thousands of pounds on the snow plows, and they won't need it for another 10 years.
I know,
it's the same here. We'll have this few days, and then we'll come back to our normal shitty weather.
And it'll be rain. Like, I miss the sun.
Yeah, I want it back. Exactly.
And then we'll moan about that. So look forward to that in a couple of weeks. It is the international break now, so we're on a break until Tottenham are playing again. When Tottenham return, we are actually at home for once.
Wow.
We are at home and we are hosting
Sheffield United.
It is Sheffield United.
I miss me and Seb. We had to miss the last game because we was away. We're having to miss the next Sheffield United because and then we're having to miss Liverpool because it's my brother's wedding. So like we're not till the end of October, I think, is when we get to go to our first home game.
Fair weather fans. So everyone listening, if we do really well for at home for the next few weeks, and then all of a sudden it takes a real dip in October, we know who to blame.
Exactly.
But yeah, so mate, it's great to have you back. You'll be joining me again when the games are flowing.
Yep.
Stefan is joining me to do our September special where we're going to take a deep dive into the transfer window. We're going to talk about the ins, the outs, the finances, and I'm going to put together a load of information on that and also the players that have gone out on loan. So that's possibly going to be next week, but keep an eye on the social media. I'll let you know when. But yeah, that's it. We're done. I'm going to go and melt. Matt, I'll speak to you soon. Everybody else, you take care.
Take it easy.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.